Okay guys, here with Mike. Now what I'm going to take you through right now is upper body mobility. So before any upper session, whether it be chest, back, shoulders, arms, I like to make sure that my scapula, my shoulders, my whole upper is ready to move, okay? A lot of times in life we end up really hunched over, whether it be from a desk job or lifting or working, whatever we do, we end up like this, okay? So we want to try and find a way to bring our scapula and our shoulders all back to open up, and that's how we're able to get better ranges of motion in our lifting, okay? So there's a series of movements. I didn't invent these. They're from Andrew Locke, I saw. It's called the Shoulder Big Three, but I'm gonna take you through how I do it, okay? But definitely want to credit Andrew Locke for these movements as well. Coming down on the floor, you want to make sure that I put my hat down just to leave my head on, okay? You don't want to have your neck up, because when you put your neck up, what you'll actually feel is your lower back pinch, okay? Because all of your upper or your posterior, that chain, whole kinetic chain from your spine is now working and activated, okay? So we want to relax as much as possible. So my forehead is going to be down on the ground as much as I can to relax my neck, okay? So with our head down, now from here, we're going to start with our arms out to the side, hands off the ground, and I'm going to focus on moving my shoulders and scapula. Not necessarily my hands, but shoulders and scapula. Up and down like this, so as far back as possible, back down 20 times. Ten. 20. Now moving these down, keeping my palms towards the ground as far as I'll go down beside my body. 10. Again, making sure I'm lifting from my shoulder as much as possible. Now turning my hands so my palms now facing up towards the roof, closer to my body. 10. Now, bringing them up, in front, palms down, 10. From here, our hands should never touch the ground, keeping them feet or palms down above our head. As we come down, they move to palms up by my side. 10 times. So 1, 10. From here, down here, pushing my elbows as far down as possible, keep my hands off the ground, back overhead. 10 times. Don't touch the ground. Okay, now coming up into this position on hands and knees with my hands flat. I'm going to let my scapula, so from my shoulders where they connect to my torso, let it press down as much as possible. From here, I'm going to use my scapula to push up, down, up. Slight pause in each position, 5 times. From here, taking my right arm, reaching under my left as far as possible, and back. 3 times. left, last one. Right arm behind the head, taking my elbow down to my left knee, and then raising up as far as possible 3 times. And the left. I like to come back, just make sure my glutes, lower back, nice and stretched out as well. When you stand up, you should feel almost instantly more pulled back, more upright, more open. So right now, there's a lot of blood in my rear delts and traps, so I feel pulled back, ready to lift. So I do that before every upper session. Now, if you have issues with shoulder or elbow, I would definitely, like soreness, I would definitely suggest to look at warming up the wrists as well, okay? Taking the wrists through a series of or ranges of motion to make sure, because a lot of time pain in shoulders or elbow is related to wrists. Restriction in the way the wrist moves. Now, you can progress that by using weights. So you lie down, do the whole thing again, holding 1 kilo dumbbells, 2 kilo dumbbells, up to 5 kilo dumbbells if you want to progress that movement or if you found it too easy. So that's what I do before every upper session. Make sure you do it too. Then at OneGym, Port Melbourne, me and Geordie, we're bringing to you some upper today. So at the moment with our split, we do upper, lower, upper, rest, upper, lower, or lower, upper. And basically the upper sessions are, whatever we train first will be the priority for that session. So it's an upper body day. However, today it's prioritized with back. So our first 3 movements, 2 or 3 movements, we'll be back, hit them fresh, hit them hard, then move on to some chest, some rear delts and some biceps. So first movement, I like to always do on a back day. I think ever since I've seen Dorian Yates do it, I've liked doing it with pullover. I just play around with the variations. I've got here at OneGym a Watson pin-loaded pullover machine. It's probably my favorite pullover machine that I've ever used. That's why I bought it. Pin loaded, seated. I feel nice and secure. Get a really good stretch, and I have tension all the way down to the waist. When I grab this movement or this machine, I like to hold it almost like a dumbbell. I pull down, and my focus at the top, you'll see, is at the top. I think of my armpits, trying to push them together. By pushing them together, I engage my lats. I use my lats to drive my elbows behind my body as far as I can. So, we'll do 3 sets here. Not crazy heavy weight, but we're gonna get high reps again, just to like put a lot of blood into the lat without use of the bicep. So it's a straight arm back exercise. I find if I use a movement up front or first that has a lot of elbow flexion or elbow movement, it can incorporate a lot of forearm and bicep, and just fatigues them early in the session. Whereas I want to try and get as much blood into the lat as possible without incorporating the bicep. So I find the pullover is the perfect movement for that reason. So first up here, the pullover. We're going to 3 sets in, around 20 reps. We won't really do any force reps here. As I said, I primarily want to use this movement just to put some blood in the muscle, so we'll make it hard, that's for sure. But we're going to make sure we hit 20 reps each of the 3 sets. before we move on to the first main exercise, if that makes any sense at all. This is something that I just get my feel on, okay? So again, you know, things can be programmed a certain way, but as you get more and more experienced in your lifting and with your body, you know, I feel this makes the rest of my session better. So I like to do it. So this isn't actually written in my program, but I do it before almost every pull day or pull focus day, back focus day, because I like the way it makes my lats feel. I like the way it makes my next exercise feel in terms of how I'm able to connect better with my lats, okay? And if I've made the most progress in my back over the past 18 months, probably because of that, the better connection with the muscle. So first main movement, second movement, whatever you want to call it. Single arm or unilateral cable lat pull down. This arm movement's got a lot of popularity over the past 6 months. I feel like I saw no one do it, then all of a sudden I saw everyone do it. Same with cuffs, but it is a good exercise. I like to set the bench up fairly high so I can brace myself. I like to have it about enough distance away from the cable, and the cable at a high enough place so that when I'm pulling, that cable is traveling in the same direction as my forearm is traveling, okay? I don't want a big difference in those angles because it's gonna shift the load to the shoulder joint rather than my lat. So what I mean by that is, I have the bench set up just to the side, so that's directly in front. I have it set off just to the side, so that as I'm pulling, it's in direct line with the cable. So when I'm seated down, you can see here, that direct straight line. From here, I'm pulling with my, or not with my thumb or my pointer finger. The last three fingers, trying to pull through my pinky and drive my elbow towards my hip. If you look at the angle from where the cable's traveling, to the direction of my forearm, it's in pretty much the same direction the whole time. If you find yourself forward like this and you get a lot of elbow flexion, so right there, less elbow flexion, more elbow flexion. More elbow flexion, more bicep involvement. So I try and sit in a position where I'm driving my elbow to my hips and releasing slowly through the lat, driving the hips, releasing slowly through the lat. So what I'm doing is I can feel it all in that lower lat section, okay? I also don't let my scapula fully come forward, okay? I keep my scapula back and locked in and stretch from the lat. I'm not letting that shoulder pop out of place, okay? Because what happens there is if that pulls back from there, it's shifting the load away from my lower lat. So I keep my scapula retracted, locked in there, stretching the lat. I can feel all the stretch down here. And I'm driving the elbow to the hip, almost as if my arm is being drawn forward. And I like to go this one in a fairly neutral but relaxed and natural grip, okay? So not pronated, not supinated, somewhere in between as it feels natural. We're gonna get 15 each side. This is the first feeder set, so working set next. So when we do the right side, I just pivot this over to the right. So now I've got a clear line of direction between the cable and my right hip. So again, we want a straight as line as possible. Scapula's back, retracted and on. I'm driving the elbow to the hip. Brace myself with my other hand. Also notice, guys, that my back isn't moving a lot with this exercise, okay? It's locked in here. Bang. Bang. If anything, a little slight lean over, just at the bottom, okay? But any movement up here is not gonna help my lat grow. Keeping locked in position, driving hard is gonna make my lat grow. Well, that's the plan. Time will tell in 10 weeks, 11 weeks. So we're hogs here. We like to set up 2 benches. So, because I find that when you're doing unilateral work, single arm work with a partner, if you've got one machine or one movement, it can take a lot more time to get through the movements. So we set up 2. But, gym courtesy, if I notice someone else looking for a bench, we'll be the first to offer. You'll find the guys with training partners, I've touched it before, try and find someone who is at a similar level or similar mindset to you, yes, but also try and find someone who, sometimes Jordan and I, we talk a lot during the sessions, sometimes we don't say fucking anything, but we don't need to. We stop, we start, we encourage, we support when we need it. I can walk away for a second and know that Jordan's gonna still kill his set, he can do the same for me. So I think when you get in the same mindset of someone, the same wavelength, you know, similar goals, you find it's natural, it's not forced. You know, you don't have to make conversation all the time. We're here to fucking train. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't, but we get the job done. Last idea, 3 sets. When we fail with good form, because it's not really an exercise where we can spot that much, like a leg extension or a leg press, or a machine press, something like that. We're gonna get a bit looser with our form and lean back a little bit, okay? Just to really empty the tank, but only after we fail with good form, okay? So again, that's something you'll feel as you train and mature with your training intuition. You'll feel when it's appropriate to do those looser forced reps and when it's not, okay? So this is at the end of our last set, and you'll see every fucking rep before then has been with tempo in mind, okay? That controlled negative. First 10 perfect, Geordie.
Yep. Hey, reckless tour, but I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt. I'm a real one, check my fabric. Hey, I said reckless tour, but I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt. I'm a real one, check my fabric. Look at my fabric, I added I point way up. I got a passion mixed with action, boy, don't play. Look at my fabric, I added atlas, I point way up. I got a passion mixed with action, boy, don't play. Look at my fabric.
All right, guys. So next movement, bilateral 2 arm, chest supported incline, whatever you want to call it, dumbbell row. We want to keep upper back focus this one, so bit of rear delts, mid traps, upper traps, trapezius, that sort of stuff. So you're gonna keep our elbows a bit wider and prone grip the whole time.
I got a passion, yeah, players. I got a passion, full static, ready on go. Don't let it unfold. Beast mode, if you're ready, let's roll. Feeling like this, you never get in my zone. That's me, man, I'm still on my own. Man, we ain't one of the same, one of the ways I do this, all of my loans. I'm back in my zone again, no way can I hold it in. Look at me when I'm growing them. I'm the OG code that I'm cold defend. From the west to the east when I'm blowing it, I'm showing them how to make moves again.
Pump cover comes off.
I'ma go drop jewels for them. Show them how to win, not lose again. Whoa, look at the way that we walk, it's a habit. Look at the fabric, all of it lavish. They say I'm sleeping, but where is the mattress? I don't believe him, I hear him, I'm gasping. Look at the way that we walk, it's a vibe. All in the eyes, you see the vibes. I've been expensive since I was 5. Telling no lies, ayy. Reckless tour, but I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt. I'm a real one, check my fabric, ayy. I said reckless talk, but I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt. I'm a real one, check my fabric. Look at my fabric, I add this atlas, I point way.
So Guys, this is Rory.
Hey guys.
Rory and his partner Albie, one of the OG originals. So shout out to Rory for supporting us in the gym from day one.
Best gym in Port Melbourne.
Sure. I really appreciate Rory's support and Albie, great people. Heading back to Ireland soon, I think. What part of Ireland? Dublin.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
They've been over here for a while now, but heading back. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, bro, whenever you're back in Australia,
thanks for everything.
This is always your home, okay?
Thank you, Mike. Cheers for everything. Thank you.
We going up this week?
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Next exercise, single arm hamstring throw. I do this standing. Jordy does it seated, so a good example of where you can do it different ways, depending on what feels best for you, okay? I like to do it standing because I put my front foot forward, chest up against the pad the whole time, or sternum, and really take my lower back out of it, okay? I find that if I have this back, sometimes I can leverage a bit more. If I'm seated, I can leverage a bit more, but I like to stand up high and pull this right down low. Now, another thing you'll note, so far we've done a fairly neutral overhead, a prone row from beneath. Now we're doing a horizontal pull, again with a neutral grip to hit that lat. So I find this one here also hits a bit more of that inner sort of like lower trap, again, you know, rhomboid meaty part of the back area, and then finishes off with a little bit lower lat. So I'm just trying to attack the back from different angles, okay, to get more complete through it all. 1 feet a set here. One thing JP always said was this movement, and any row movement, rather than just thinking about elbow back, think about elbow down. So as I'm driving my elbow back, I'm also driving it down towards the ground as much as possible. Kind of like when you do a deadlift and you think about scapula down. So from here I'm thinking elbow down and driving the elbow not up here, down, and then back. So stretch, drive, stretch, drive. That's 2 at a time for bodybuilding, 1 at a time for physique. One more. Good boy. All right, guys, so moving on. Back's done. Sometimes we get carried away and do a few more sets, but don't tell Dean. But now we're moving on to chest. So we've got 4 sets here, 1 movement. This is a Rogers, it's done by Built for you out of Queensland, but it's a Rogers replica of their flat press, seated press. Really nice machine in the way it leverages the weights from behind, similar to an old like Nautilus Explode, but it's not converging, so it stays very straight, which is different. We're just progressing it just to see how it feels after 6 weeks of trying to progress some weight on the movement as well. So yeah, we'll do 4 sets here and try and hit between 8 to 15 as far as the repetition.
I'ma get right in my bag. Why you gonna try to get mad? Everybody wanna keep up. Don't you know I move too fast? I'ma zip right past. Drip, drip all on my swag. Why you trying to size me up? You don't wanna try your luck.
Told you guys, leg day it's the Chucks Club, Converse Chucks. On every other day, it's the Jays Club. Jordan ones, baby. Yeah, I don't know, Corey. I wore Vibram V-Trains for probably a good 12 months straight. I did like them, to be honest. I don't know why I went away from them. I'm pretty sure I saw like Roman Fritz training fucking in black and white, hardcore video in Chucks. I was like, yeah, I want to wear Chucks. So, fucking social media influence, see? It was either Roman Fritz wearing Chucks or fucking Eugene Tio wearing fucking Vibrams.
We've been looking at the bottom, now we out here making moves.
Get it! 3! Fucking 3! 2! 1!
Looking like baboons.
1! Let's go! Come on!
For this moment, we've been keeping it. We don't know about nothing less. It ain't real unless we done it. We've been cooking like a chef. That's why everybody on it.
Now.
One more with me.
Yep!
Come on, push! Chest!
Watch me level up. Watch me level up.
Alright guys, so moving on, we'll do some rear delts. This is an example where Geordie doesn't like this machine, doesn't connect with it. So Geordie's doing some dumbbell bent over rear delts over the bench. I'm going to use this Panatta multi-flight. So I'm not a huge fan of the latest Panatta stuff, but I love the multi-flight machine. It's a machine where we can adjust the arms to low for like side raise, or bring them the other way so they start from up here and do a fly from down there as well, and then adjust it up and down, up high obviously if you're taller, but down low to hit the rear delt. And so I really like it. Rest my head in the pad, loosely grab these and rear delts.
Let's go.
Unleashed, untamed, on a war campaign. All I'm hearing on the brain, no pain, no gain. So cold on the game.
So I'm sort of, as I'm bending over, I'm not coming back, I'm trying to come a little bit forward just to hit that little rear delt behind the shoulder. So we'll do 2 sets here.
Dominate your terrain, leave a path full of flames. You ain't never took a real loss, that's about to be arranged. Yes, let the fire blaze, let the bridges burn. Once we go to war, it ain't no return. You ain't know I was a problem, you about to learn. Once we go to war, it ain't no return. Yeah, we about to take it way too far. Yeah, we about to take it way, way, way too far. Let's go. You ain't know I was a problem, you about to learn. Once we go to war, it ain't no return.
Alright guys, last exercise. Gonna do a dual handle cable bicep curl. So this one here, we like to stand forward on the machine and have our elbows behind our body at all times. The reason why is you want to work the bicep from a stretch position. So yes, this is a stretch position for the bottom of the bicep. What about the top? This isn't stretched at all. So when we take the arm inferior or behind the body, like this, now we're stretched from the bottom and we're stretched from the top of the bicep. So from here, we're working the bicep from a fully stretched position. That's what we want to focus on. One of the biggest differences I've been able to make to my physique over the past 6 to 12 months, I feel, is just general arm size, thickness. And all I've done, I've actually probably done the least amount of volume ever for my arms. Averaging probably 10 sets a week. But a lot of cable work, a lot of unilateral work as well. So I think just working the bicep and tricep from better positions, better angles, with better form has made the biggest difference. So yeah, I'm a big advocate and big fan of cables at the moment.
Let the fire blaze, let the bridges burn. Once we go to war, it ain't no return. You ain't know I was a problem, you about to learn. Once we go to war, it ain't no return. Yeah, we about to take it way too far. Yeah, we about to take it way, way, way too far. Let's go. You ain't know I was a problem, you about to learn. Once we go to war, it ain't no return.
Alright guys, so last exercise just for fun. I was telling you how we're easily influenced by social media. We've seen the GOAT, Phil Heath, doing this hammer curl. And he's developing the bicep brachialis. And I need more pop here. So we decided to throw this in because if we do this exercise, we're gonna get arms like that. So let's throw it in for fun. It's guaranteed. All right, guys, so that's us done. Upper session down at OneGym. Just again, guys, OneGym Port Melbourne, OneGym Bodybuilding Club, 67 Crockford Street. Come down and check us out here. Everyone's always welcome to come down, trial the gym, support us, we'll support you back as always. Give love, get love, all those kind of things. Thanks to Geordie for joining us for this session. We are both 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks out from stepping the stage at FitFest, Pro Qualifier, maybe a show before that, depending on international travel. But again, if you're not following Geordie Bichler, Bichler on Instagram, give him a follow, give him support, show him love. He's an up-and-coming bodybuilder in Australia. Shout out to FD Media, Corey, behind the camera. Thank you for joining in. And as always, guys, if you like the video, show us some love with a like, hit the subscribe button, chuck some comments down below, tell us what you'd like to see next, tell us what you like from the video, give me some direction in terms of what you want to see more of. I'll definitely do my best to give you back more content and trying to keep it fun but educational at the same time. Apart from that, we're going to eat some checks, or as my son says, sheks. And catch you next time. We out.